Did you know that you are attracting people, opportunities, and every problem every single day without saying a word? In chapter 2 of Attitude is Everything, we discover why you are a human magnet. Hey, I'm Riddhi. Welcome and welcome back to the Quiet Chapters, where every word is a step toward a calmer and better you. Lesson 2. You are a human magnet. What's the key to success? Why do some people succeed while others fails? Earl Nightingale, the great success writer, broadcaster, and speaker, addressed this issue in his famous recorded message entitled The Strangest Secret. In this program, he identified the key to success in just 6 words. Of course, he went on to explain it in more detail, but the foundation of his success secret is only 6 words. You would like to know the 6 words, wouldn't you? Well, before I tell you the key to success, you might be surprised to learn that the same 6 words are also the key to failure. Are you ready for the key to success? Here it is. We become what we think about. We become what we think about. On a gut level, does that make sense to you? In his research on the subject, Earl Nightingale found that all of the great writers, philosophers, and religious leaders have agreed that our thought determine our action. Here are the observations of a few great thinkers on this very point. Napoleon Hill said, "What the mind can conceive and believe, the mind can achieve." The Bible contains numerous references to thinking, including this: "According to your faith, be it unto you. As a man thinketh in his heart, so he is." If you can believe, all things are possible. Ralph Waldo Emerson put it this way: "A man is what he thinks about all day long." Robert Collier offered this insight: "There is nothing on the earth you can't have, once you have mentally accepted the fact that you can have it." And finally, there are the well-known words of Henry Ford, who said, "Whether you think you can or think you can't, you are right." How this principle works? Let's examine this concept a little further, that we become what we think about. Here's how it works. If you're constantly thinking about a particular, then you will take a step to move toward the goal. Let's say that someone thinks he is capable of $30,000 per year. Like a human magnet, Fred will attract those employment opportunities that will move him in that direction. As long as Fred thought he will reach his goal of earning $30,000 per year. Now, what if Fred began to think, "Hey, I would like to earn more money to meet the growing need of my family. I want to earn $50,000 per year." Will Fred's income increase? It depends. Just how strong is the Fred's belief that he can earn $50,000 per year? It's quite possible that Fred would like to earn $50,000, but he doesn't believe that he is really capable of earning that amount. In that case, Fred will not reach his income goal of $50,000 per year. If, on the other hand, Fred continually think about earning the higher income and believe in his abilities to achieve that goal, he will, in fact, increase his income to $50,000. As you might accept it, this concept is not limited to monetary goals. Suppose you are shooting a round of 95 on a golf course right now, but concentrating on bringing that score down to 85. And by truly believing in your abilities to do so, you will begin to take a step to move toward the goal. You may take lessons, you may practice more, but in the end, you will bring your score down and reach your objective. Dominant thoughts rule the day. The day that we become what we think about has also been expressed as a law of dominant thought. This means that there is a power within each of us that propels us in the direction of current dominant thought. The key word here is dominant. You can't expect positive result when you spend 10 seconds a day thinking positively and the remaining 16 working hours dwelling on negative outcome. Here is the bottom line. A positive thinking doesn't produce positive result. Just like a bit of a diet doesn't work, it's like trying to lose weight by eating a healthy breakfast, low-calorie breakfast, and then pigging out on cake and ice cream for the rest of the day. The same is true for exercise. You can't do a few minutes exercise once a week and expect to be physically fit. You can't do a few minutes of exercise once a week and expect to be physically fit. Look at the positive thinking in the same way. A little bit just doesn't get the job done. Instead, you must take control of your mental activity and think positively throughout each and every day until it becomes a habit. Remember, it has to be your dominant thought pattern. Take a moment to consider your dominant thought in the major areas of your life. Are they serving you or holding you back? Attitude adjustment lead to real estate ownership. Let me share a personal example to demonstrate the power of our thought. In the 1970s and early 1980s, I observed many people in my area, Long Island, New York, who were making a lot of money by purchasing home for investment purpose and renting them out. The home were appreciating in value considerably each year. Sure, there were the usual headache of having to deal with the tenant problems, but the return these investors were getting was incredible. Well, I kept thinking that I should start buying some investment homes, but I never took an action because I continued to doubt myself. My thinking was dominated by all of the things that could go wrong. Simply put, I had a lousy attitude, and with a negative attitude, is it any wonder that I never took the first step? However, after I started reading books and listening to tapes on the power of attitude and belief, I decided to change my attitude about real estate investment. In the summer 1986, I decided that before the end of the year, I would purchase 2 investment homes. This time, I wasn't going to allow any negative thought to creep into my mind. For 6 months, I focused my thinking on one thing, owning 2 investment homes. I wrote down my goals several times each day and referred to them often. I believed at the deepest level of my beginning that I would own 2 homes before the end of the year. In the evening and on weekends, I went in the real estate agents to look at homes. I personally visited about 100 homes and researched hundreds of other. In the fall of 1986, I purchased an investment property. What a great feeling of accomplishment to do something that I wouldn't allow myself to do before, but I still had work to do. And on December 29, just 2 days before the end of the year, I reached my goal and bought the second investment home. As I look back at why I was able to purchase the real estate in 1986 while I couldn't do it in the year before then, the answer is clear. In 1986, I believed that I could do it. I had an unshakable positive attitude that propelled me forward to reach my goal. This entire experience was tremendously valuable to me. In fact, it was priceless because it taught me that you can achieve your goal when you believe in yourself and keep your thought focused on the positive. Attitude versus action. I have been talking a lot about thinking, and you might be wondering where action fit into this process. It's true that you don't get result without action, but recognize the thought precedes action. I always knew the action that I would have to take to buy those investment properties, contact realtors, visit properties, review newspaper, listening, and so on. But I never took the first step as long as I had a negative attitude. The instant I changed my attitude, I felt compelled to take action, and nothing was going to stop me. That's why a positive belief system is the starting point of the achievement of any goal. When your dominant belief is that you can achieve your goal, you begin taking the action necessary to move in that direction. Your circumstance reflect what you have been thinking about. Face this fact. Your belief brought you to where you are today, and your thinking from this point forward will take you to where you will be in future. In fact, your result in every areas of your life reflect your deeply held thoughts about yourself. Consider your finance. What are your beliefs in this area? Are you constantly thinking about not having enough money? Dwell on that thought and you block the flow of money to you. And then there's the matter of relationship. If you think that you don't deserve much, you attract friends and partner into your life who won't treat you very well. I'll bet you to know someone who always seems to go out with the wrong person. In fact, the last 29 people they have gone out with were wrong for them. Do you think this is a mere coincidence? Oh no. There is a deeply held belief inside that individual that attract these people into his or her life. And whether we are talking about finance, relationship or career, the fact remains, if your thought doesn't change, your result won't change. Change your thinking. Fortunately, there's exciting news. You can change your thoughts, thereby changing your result. Here's how. For starters, become aware of what you say to yourself all day. Each of us has an internal voice. In other words, we talk to ourselves too often. However, what we say is negative, critical, and self-limiting. Perhaps you find yourself thinking, I can't do this, or I always mess up things. These thoughts work against you. Instead, repeat to yourself that you can and will accomplish your goal. As we will discuss more fully in part 2 of this book, it's also important to become aware of the words you use on a regular basis. For example, do you put yourself down or talk about the things you could ever have or achieve? Your mind hears every word you speak, and like a magnet, you will ultimately attract the event and circumstance that correspond to your dominant belief. So make sure to use positive words about yourself and your goals. Repetition is the key. Here are 2 more action steps to help you become more positive and get the result you want. Step 1. Every day read some positive, uplifting literatures. Find 15 to 30 minutes in the morning to do this, and it's also a good idea to do some reading right before bed. There are literally thousands of motivational books and articles to choose from. Read whatever speaks to you. It could be the Bible or other spiritual material, or perhaps inspiring biographies. You will find a wide selection of success books in the psychology and self-improvement section of any bookstore or library. So check them out. Step 2. Every day listen to motivation audio programs, which you are doing right now, and that's great. You can listen to them in your car while commuting, at home, or during your exercise routine. The key is repetition. When you hear this message over and over, they become a part of you, and you become to implement them to improve your life. They will get you think about your attitude and other success principles on a daily basis. Of course, audio programs are not a subtitle for action. It's up to you to put these ideas to work. So if you read something positive or listen to motivation audio program every day, it will make a phenomenal difference in your life. I can tell you from personal experience that these techniques work if you have the discipline to stick with them. The lesson I have learned in this: change your thinking and you change your life. You will become what you think about. Don't count on overnight success. Before concluding, I would like to clarify a few things about positive thinking and the power of our thought. First of all, positive thinking doesn't mean that you will achieve your goals overnight. It's not as if you start thinking about making more money and the next morning you wake up and find a stock of dollar bills at your bedside. Not by a long shot. Success required effort, commitment, and patience. And secondly, positive thinking doesn't mean you won't have any more problem. Believe me, you will have plenty of setbacks along the way. However, if you continue to believe in yourself, take action, and persist, you will overcome those obstacles. Remember, you are constantly moving in the direction of your dominant thought. Everything you achieve in your lifetime flow from the thought and beliefs. Negative thinking yield negative result, and positive thinking produce positive result. Keep your attitude window clean and bright so that the positive thought can come shining through. It simply makes no sense to think negative thought unless you want to get negative results. And I know you don't want that to be happen. So from this point forward, choose your thought wisely and use these powerful principles to get fantastic results